In economics, from the actor's subjective position, and in regard to the future, we could also say from a prospective viewpoint, because prospective means concerning what is yet to be made, we can affirm that a law of tendency exists, according to which the longer the time period involved in an action, that is, the greater the number and complexity of its stages, the more valuable that action's results or the end the actor is attempting to achieve. I repeat, as the time period understood in subjective terms, that is, the number and complexity of stages involved in an action increases, other things being equal, the value we assign to the end we accomplish increases as well, and this value we assign to the end, which we tend to value more the longer the time period involved in the action materializes in quantitative or qualitative terms. That is, in a greater number of units of the final good we wish to attain, or in goods of higher quality, or in a combination of both. Now, I will demonstrate in terms of economic theory that this law of tendency always holds true. So, what separates the actor from the end he so desires, which is what he intends to achieve and what he values? Well, simply a set of successive stages that take time. If what separates us from our much-valued ends is a period of time, then clearly we human beings will attempt to achieve our ends as soon as possible. Our ideal would be to achieve the ends we so desire, like finishing our degrees in 5 years, tomorrow, if that were possible. We seek to accomplish our ends as soon as possible, precisely because as soon as possible means the sooner the better. If I aim to achieve an end as soon as possible, because what separates me from my end is a set of stages which I must gradually complete, and which make up the time period involved in the action, then I will be willing to postpone the achievement of my end only if I believe that by lengthening the time period, I will achieve an end of greater value. If I do not think that postponing my end will lead to my attaining an end of greater value, I will always choose a shorter action. So it is clear that from a prospective viewpoint, human beings often decide to undertake actions which take more time, and they postpone the achievement of their much-desired ends, but only because they believe that by doing so they will achieve more valuable ends. You all could have decided not to get a bachelor's degree, but instead to start working immediately, or enter a shorter program, maybe get a vocational degree in just a year or two. Why did you not do that? Why did you embark on an action which requires 4 or 5 years before the end is achieved? Precisely because you subjectively value much more highly the end you are working toward than the end you could achieve with a shorter action, going to work immediately and not getting a degree, or entering a degree program of a shorter duration. So, I have demonstrated the law of tendency. We all act in such a way that if we postpone the accomplishment of ends, that is, if we embark on actions that will mature in a more distant future, it is only because we believe that by doing so, we will achieve ends of greater value. And, almost without realizing it, we have introduced the essential category in capital theory, namely, the law of time preference. The law of time preference is a fundamental law of economic science, and it states the following: other things being equal, which economists express using the Latin phrase ceteris paribus, keeping all other things the same, other things being equal, the actor prefers to satisfy her needs or achieve her ends as soon as possible. To put it another way, between two goals to which the actor assigns the identical subjective value, and which are exactly alike in every aspect but one, their different availability in time, one being available before the other, The actor will always prefer the goal that will be available sooner. The law of time preference in economics can also be formulated very briefly as follows. Other things being equal, human beings prefer present goods to future goods. And this very brief formulation of the law is simply another way to express or articulate the essential idea I was presenting before. That is, an action is comprised of a set of stages which take time, and which we must complete before achieving our much-desired end. And, therefore, since what separates us from the end we desire is a time period, we wish to achieve our end as soon as possible. We could also express this idea as follows. We are willing to postpone the achievement of an end into a more distant future only if, by doing so, we intend to accomplish an end of greater value. And the illustration is quite clear. You have decided to pursue a degree which takes 5 years to obtain, instead of going to work tomorrow or choosing a shorter degree program. Therefore, we are talking about a law which is an ontological requirement of the logical structure of human action, of the way human beings were created. We cannot conceive of our essentially creative, entrepreneurial nature in any way which does not rest on time preference. We are not talking about a psychological law or a physiological law. We are talking about a category embedded in the logical structure of every action, and therefore of every man and woman, every member of the human race. We all base our actions on the law of time preference.